Hi. Um, some of y'all might not like what I have to say here. Some might agree. Um, but I gotta say it. Uh, so I just read here Canada recognizes the state of Palestine. People whose supporters in Canada chant things like to Canada and burn our flag. Yeah, I'm reading. I pre wrote. I'm reading. We can't even figure out how to afford. We can't even figure out how to or afford to house, feed, and employ our own people. So why they think we should be helping others right now is absurd. When you're the guy with the dandelions all over his front yard, you shouldn't be handing out advice and money to people on landscaping, especially to people that aren't even in your neighborhood and would rather you than help you. I guess we are addressing the housing situation, though. Canada has put forth $13 billion to build 4,000 prefabricated homes. That's fantastic news. They must be spectacular homes if they're spending $3.25 million each. I hope I get one. Oh, right. I better be careful what I post. Once they pass Bill C-63, they can sentence you to life in prison if they determine your post to be hate speech. Apparently that's worse than things like SA. Don't believe any of this? Please allow me to cite my sources. Everything will be in the below. I'll put links to everything below. There will be a link to Canada recognizing Palestine, a link to the pro-Palestine behavior of, I don't know whether they're Canadian born or not. I don't even really care. Like, the behavior is uncalled for. It's absurd. Then there's Carney announcing his new federal agency, Build Canada Homes, which are new government, new liberal government, not old liberal government, new. New government will capitalize with 13 billion with a B billion dollars. They say they will build 4,000 homes. That's 3.25 million per home. Maybe the change goes to the new agency. I don't know. I'm still unsure if any of it is even paying for homes when I read the part that says Canada's government will bring faster approvals and the private sector will bring construction, innovation, supply chain, and financing. Well, what's the 13 billion for then? These better be nice homes. And then there's a link to Bill C-63. You're going to want to see Part 2, Criminal Code Amendments. Or you can search the page for imprisonment and scroll to the 4th instance and just read that part. Yeah, doesn't even really give anything. It just says, if somebody is convicted of hate speech for talking about sex, race, gender, any of that, you can be sentenced to life in prison. You understand? Life. The rest of your life. You're going to go to jail because you talk crap about someone online. Oh, hate speech. But, and then there's a link to how real crime is treated in Canada. Now, I want to say this is absolutely disgusting, every bit of it, from the actions of the heinous criminal who should be exported to the North Pole for the rest of his life, to the Liberal government that provided his sentence. Keep in mind when it says something like 8 years in jail, that offender is eligible for parole after 2/3 of their sentence, so that's like 5 years and 4 months. So 5 years behind bars for a horrific crime, or life for talking crap online. What is even happening to our country? Reader beware on that one. I remember in 2014, I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was in 2014. I'm 100% sure about that. There was a Toronto Maple Leafs game, and I think they were playing, I think it was maybe Nashville. I don't know. I don't watch. I appreciate that I'm a homegrown Canadian boy, but I don't watch hockey. I got shit to do. So I think it was Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Nashville Predators, and the mic, or the person singing the American national anthem, the mic cut out close to the end, and immediately, without skipping a beat, the Canadians finished the national anthem. Okay, that's what we thought of our neighbors. That's the type of people we were. That's the Canadian way, right? That's how we treat people. That's how we feel about people. And then something happened in 2015, close to the end, somewhere maybe around November 2015. Something happened. I'd have to check the news or Google it or something. I can't remember. But something changed in around November 2015, and ever since then, it seems like everything has just gone down the toilet. I mean, everything. We're losing our homes, we're losing our jobs, we're losing our investments, we're losing our money. I mean, they say things are, inflation is, 3% or something like that. But every time I go to the store, things are like 25, 30, 40, 50% more expensive. I mean, I don't see anybody's paychecks going up 25, 35, 45, 50%. But, okay. Nobody can afford to live anymore. I mean, when I moved to this town, I walked into an apartment. It was a bachelor apartment. I think I was like, I don't know, it's probably 18 or 19 years old. I can't remember, honestly. It was a long time ago. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I'm old as fuck. So I walked into this town. I walked into an apartment building. It was a little bachelor pad. I walked into the superintendent. I knocked on her office and I said, "Hey, I need an apartment." She's like, "When do you need an apartment?" I'm like, "I need one right now." So she walks me down the hall. She opens up the door to this little apartment and she shows me. It's a tiny little place. I mean, it was like a room it was like a square with a tiny little kitchenette on the side, a tiny little bathroom, and then, it was nothing. But you know what? It was $300 a month, all inclusive. She wanted first and last month's rent. So I pulled $600 out of my pocket. I came prepared, of course. I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared. So I pulled $600 out of my pocket. I handed it to her. She says, "Cool, here's the keys. Come on down when you're ready and sign the paperwork. Take your time. I don't even care if I even see you today. Just get yourself moved in." Thanks. $300 all inclusive. I was able to work at Bingo Country. Okay? That was minimum wage paying job. I was, even before I did anything with tips, it was just minimum wage. I remember just being a runner. Like, you're just literally running and selling cards to people. There's no tips. You might have got a tip once in a blue moon from somebody who won some money, but probably not. The only tips I can remember were when people that I knew came in there. A buddy of mine won a couple grand and he tipped me like $60 or something, So, thanks, bud. TJ, thanks, buddy. But I mean, other than that, you ain't getting nothing. So I was able to walk to my work on a minimum wage job, earn my pay, come home. I was able to pay my rent. I was able to eat. I was fine. I mean, I didn't drive. I wasn't rich by any means. I didn't have any investments. I didn't have, a stack of gold under my pillowcase or anything. But I mean, I was able to live on my own, come home and have stuff and have play my video games and eat my food and, it was normal. I was able to live just by myself. Now, that same apartment, that same little bachelor apartment is $1,300 a month plus utilities. Okay? So, if you make minimum wage around here, I know because I employed minimum wage people. I know what they make. You bring home a little over $1,000. We'll call her, you know what, we're going to be generous today. I'm going to call her $1,200. You bring home $1,200 every 2 weeks. So that means you make $2,400 a month. I mean, sounds like a lot of money. until you find out that in order to pay for that apartment, that's $1,300. So, you know, you're already down to 11. And then you have to pay for hydro. I'm pretty sure it was hydro. It was hydro or water, but I'm almost certain it was hydro. I think they throw the water in. How nice of them. So let's call your hydro bill, I don't know, let's call her, you know what, like, we'll be nice, we'll call her $150. All right, so $1,450 you're at. Okay, you need to have the internet. Can't not have the internet nowadays. I mean, what could you possibly do if you didn't have the internet, right? So let's be generous on that one and call her $50. You know, you're getting a cheap internet there. $50, you know, nothing fancy. Cool. All right, so what are we at there? What are we at? We're at 13, 14, 50, so we're at $1,500. All right, cool. You gotta have your phone. You gotta pay for your phone, because I mean, if you don't have a phone, you can't. You're not even gonna have a job, right? So let's just be nice on that. We'll call a phone. We'll say it's $100 a month. All right. So what are we at? $1,600. All right. You gotta eat. Oh my goodness, you gotta eat. Yeah. And we've all been to the grocery store. I know we have, because we all have to eat. I have to eat. You have to eat. Where's the fucking thing? Right there. You have to eat. All of us have to eat. So we're going to be nice on that one. We're going to say $100 a week. Now, I don't know if any of you have gone to Walmart lately and filled up one of their little bags. You know, one of their little... shit, I was going to show you. I probably don't fucking have one. But one of their little bags. That's about $100. Everything is like $5 or $10 a piece, right? So, I mean, 15 items and you're at... I mean, that's for a week. I mean, okay, so $100 a week. So you're spending... I mean, we're just going to throw her 4 weeks in a month, right? So it's going to cost you $400. So what we got? $1,500 already there? So... what is it, 15? So shit, so what did I say? 13 for the rent, 1450 for, once you count the hydro, 1450, $50 for internet, so that's 15, $100 for your phone, that's 16, $100 a week for food, so 17, 18, 19, 20. And then after that, you're still gonna need things like you're still gonna need to take care of yourself, like things are gonna happen. Fuck was that? Things are still going to happen, you know what I mean? Like, you're still going to need things like, you know, shit tickets and toothpaste. And, I mean, this is not even saying that you have a vehicle, right? Imagine if you have a vehicle. Let's just say you have a vehicle and your vehicle is outright paid. You previously have purchased your vehicle, so you own it. You're not paying, you know, on your new, I don't fucking know, car. You're not paying, so you've already got that car, but you still have to pay for insurance. So, I mean, let's assume, I mean, you're starting out. You don't have, I mean, somebody who's you know, 45, 50 years old, I mean, they've had insurance for a while, they probably have a much better rate. But somebody starting out who's living in that bachelor pad, you know, they probably didn't have insurance. So I know a young fella that worked for me that was paying $425 a month insurance. So if you have a vehicle and you're a young fella and you're living in that tiny little bachelor pad, you know, tiny little bachelor pad, and you're minimum wage, you're working down at the bingo hall or, you know, Sing Hortons or, you know, anything like that. You're working down at Wally's Mart there, you know, you're, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. So you're bringing home $2,300 in a month because you're taxed when you get it, taxed when you spend it, taxed when you look at it, taxed if you make more, taxed if you lose it. I mean, don't even get me started on capital gains tax. Jesus Christ. So you know, you're ruling out you can't have a car. That's not going to happen. So you can't afford a car. So that means you can't get any job that requires you to drive somewhere because you can't afford a car. So that job that's a little bit better paying that it's not walking distance. And I don't know if you know the buses around here, but it's not like in a big city where there's just buses all day and night. You don't get that job. You don't get to have that job. You have to have the job that's within walking distance from your little apartment. So how are you going to get ahead? How are you ever going to get that car? How are you going to save up? What happens if you need something? What happens if you need a prescription? You know what I mean? I know people that have prescriptions, and I'm not talking about, prescriptions. I'm talking about real prescriptions, real actual health problems with them. Things wrong with their heart or blood pressure or I don't know, things wrong with them, and they have to pay for prescriptions, and that shit isn't cheap. So imagine if you have to pay even $100 a month. I know people that have to pay, $200-300 a month in prescriptions. I know for sure. I know one guy for sure, 100%. He pays $300 a month prescriptions. 100%. Boom, right off the top. $300 a month. And it's a non-negotiable thing. It's a health problem. It's not like you can say, you know what? I think I'm gonna cut out this health problem today. I cut out the smokes. And I cut out the candy bars. Today I think I'm gonna cut out the diabetes. Doesn't work like that, right? You have to pay that. So we go on about how, just none of this shit just makes sense. $13 billion, and what you're going to do is you're going to have faster approvals for that. I can think of one or two things that money would be much better spent on than faster approvals. How about, build homes with it or some shit? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what our country is coming to. This place is falling apart. I swear to God, this country is falling right apart. Welcome to Canada. It used to be a wonderful place. Now it's unrecognizable. I'll be completely honest with you. When Trump was trolling Trudeau about that 51st state, I was like, that's pretty funny. Trudeau's an idiot. He deserves every bit of it. So troll away. I didn't actually take it serious, but I remember thinking in my head, like, no, 51st state, take off. All honesty, look how good they're doing now compared to how good we're doing now. And we're going to be the fastest growing economy in the G7. We're lucky to be part of the G7. All right? So, I don't get it. Let's just fight with our neighbors and, piss on the locals and welcome to Canada. Alright, this video is already too long, so, I wish anybody that's watching this, I wish you the best. Alright, I wish your kids the best. It's not even so much us, we're already fucked, but our kids, my son, I have an 18-year-old son. He's lucky to have a job. You know why he has a job? Because the only reason he has a job right now is because he got lucky because of somebody that I knew. He got lucky. It wasn't because he went and handed out a resume. All of those resumes that he handed out, he didn't even get one call. Not even one. Not even one. But what's funny? The same... Yeah. There's people... I won't mention any names or anything. But there are people in this city, I know for sure. There is a young fella in this city. He's 18 or 19 years old. Same age as my son. He got a job at Walmart. He didn't make 3 months there. He got a job at Sing Hortons. He didn't make 3 months there. And then he got a job at another fast food, I can't remember which one, but another fast food place. And he also didn't make 3 months there. So within the span of a 6-month period, this young fellow was hired at 3 places and didn't even make the 3 months at any of them. 3. Imagine that, being hired at 3 places in 6 months. You want to know what the difference was between him and my son? Yeah, it wasn't the skills on their resume. It wasn't their objectives. It wasn't their... fuck was that? It wasn't their objectives. It wasn't anything like that. There was only one big difference on the resume. And it was... actually, I'll be honest, the difference wasn't even on the resume. The difference was on the person. I'll let you decide what that difference was and why the one young fella got jobs, multiple jobs, and the other young fella who was born from me, you know, didn't get hired, didn't even get called. Yeah, welcome to Canada.